Palliser Foundation, Allied Communities of Southern Coast. The Gulf of Guayaquil is home to an artisanal fishing, agriculture, and aquaculture industry that together produce income to the country of millions of dollars a year. And this production is based directly on the natural capital of the Gulf, making use of the ecosystem services of habitat, water depuration, and sediment control that it provides. Do you know how much sediment is accumulating in the Gulf of Guayaquil year after year? Millions of tons have accumulated for the last 10 years in these estuarine areas, and the quality of these natural environments has continuously deteriorated and degraded, reducing the productivity of the Gulf, affecting ecosystems and people. This sediment affects the quality of water and soil, creating eutrophication phenomena that affect reducing oxygen and increasing the mortality of the biodiversity of these ecosystems. Hose degradation is evidenced in the flow of the Guayas River that increases flood risks in the Guayaquil and neighboring cities. That is why we propose to use a nature-based solution, such as coastal mangrove afforestation, to recover the value of the Gulf. Every dollar invested in mangrove forestry will generate annual increases after 10 years of $1.50 for local fishing, $1 for the shrimp industry, and will save the state 40 cents per dredging. In addition, 320 tons of CO2, carbon dioxide, will be sequestered for each hectare planted, which is valued at a minimum of $2,000 a year. That without counting the contribution to local work, flora and fauna species, and tourism. These mangrove plantings have already been done during the last 10 years as a product of investment by shrimp MSEs that, due to a state regulation, contributed more than $3 million to plant more than 4 million mangrove plants in 1,600 hectares, which was made by the Palliser Foundation, which I represent. We have started a campaign to expose the direct and indirect benefits that these areas have generated. Restored more than 5 million tons of sediment, retained 2 million tons of carbon, protected 32 kilometers of coastal shores by these new trees, 8 meters high, flood and tsunami prevention of more than 20,000 hectares of communities and farms, and increased by more than 60% the oxygen levels of the water. Natural resources, especially our Gulf of Guayaquil, are wearing out at a rate greater than their own recovery capacity, which must necessarily lead us to rethink the belief that these assets are inexhaustible. Excess leftover processed food, animal excrement, and their poor management can lead to water pollution and endanger aquatic biodiversity. The global trend in 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development is to go beyond the conventional and intensify the social, economic, and hydrological efficiency in the management of water resources. Nature-based solutions support a circular economy, restoring, regenerating, and encouraging greater resource productivity to reduce waste and avoid pollution, including through reuse and recycling. Efforts and conversation are not enough. You have to be proactive and create new forests. In addition, in the Gulf, there are more than 23 coastal communities with more than 3,000 families living on islands that have very high levels of poverty, and that the effects of this pandemic have devastated their family economy. They need to have another source of income. In this case, of the Mangle Forestation budget, 65% of the entire investment is used to pay wages to neighboring community members for the collection of seeds, the filling of mud bags, the land and water transport, packaging of plants, and the daily planting of mangrove plants at low tide hours on the coastal shores. We need you to invest in this process. We have all the documents that certify the success of this process, MAAE, and we are also certifying and verifying these projects to be able to justify your investment in contributing to the reduction of greenhouse gas emissions, GHG, that will sustain the carbon footprint of your business and at the same time generate income from the sale of blue bonds to national and foreign companies and corporations. We can visit you, send you information by mail, physical documents, or pen drive. But the most impacting, amazing thing is to visit the work in Balao. Go out by boat to know the mangrove nurseries and hear from the crab farmers and fishermen the expectations and desires to continue executing this project that benefits the entire planet, our continent, our country, and their families and businesses.